Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Why, hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's nice to see you.
Cheerio. Is that right? Cheerios?
I remember Cheerios. Yeah, those oats made out of who knows what.
I think Cheerio is goodbye. Cheers.
Or attention in Korean.
I think that's really kind of cool. And au revoir means au revoir in French.
Wow, I never knew that. Did you know that potentially our history is an agreed upon set of lies after the last reset? Ooh, wait a minute. Was there 300 years completely fabricated? Was there 1,000 years completely fabricated? This was what we talked about this morning on EE Arts. That was a live stream. While the technology is going to enable us to, we will be doing a lot more lives. We are now free. Wow.
We're free like birds. What? I bet we sound different too, huh? They think we sound different.
I think they probably do think we sound different. Well, there is a new collection that's going to be being put up on Patreon. We have the first video done. We're going to build it up and then release it perhaps within a week or so. There's a lot to cover. There is so much going on. There also is a lot of members-only videos. These are some of the recent ones, members-only on YouTube. Yes, we did do what so many. In fact, it seems like I don't see a single channel on YouTube that doesn't have a member section. So, again, we encourage you guys, if you're so inclined, to come and join us over there. And we do thank you for your support. We couldn't do it without you guys.
Yes, if you feel like that we've given you something and helped you in your life journey, this helps us to continue to help others on their life path. So thank you.
And we have this announcement announcing Grok for government, a suite of products that make our frontier models available to United States government customers. We are especially excited about 2 new partnerships for our U.S. government partners, a new contract from the U.S. Department of Defense, our products being available to purchase via the General Service Administration schedule. This allows every federal government department, agency, or office to purchase AI products. And they're hiring mission-driven engineers, just in case. So, yeah, AI leveled up big time in Washington. So did X. Remember, X was Twitter. Tweet. It's just so much more powerful to say X.
It is.
It really does. X. It just feels powerful. Meanwhile, we have an ultimatum being issued by 47. 50 days. You got 50 days. As you see the headline here, Trump threatens Russia with tariffs if the war on Ukraine isn't resolved in 50 days. Yeah, again, everything is well thought out. Everything, even the lines that look like flubs, are not really flubs. Every single part of this is completely thought out. So here's the quote. We're going to be doing very severe tariffs. If we don't have a deal in 50 days, the president said, they would be secondary tariffs, meaning they would target Russia's trading partners in an effort to isolate Moscow in the global economy. I use trade for a lot of things, 47 said, but it's great for settling wars. Besides the tariff threat, Trump and Root, that's Mark Root, discussed a rejuvenated pipeline for U.S. weapons. European allies plan to buy military equipment and then transfer them to Ukraine. Trump said there would be billions and billions of dollars purchased. Again, these weapons of destruction, mass destruction, the military-industrial complex, when you get down to it, it's half or better of all the money spent. It's pure insanity. If you want a peaceful world, maybe we need to actually try something different.
That's, I think, the number one idea.
Yeah, but then do they really want a peaceful world? Or will it crimp their profits too much? U.S. Treasury reports surprise surplus. Gains largely driven by the tariff hikes. So the U.S. government actually posted a budget surplus? Wow, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen often. And yet, again, we can see all that the news wants to sell us is just conflict. It's all like, well, if you're not on the left, you got to be on the right. How about none of the above? I don't buy into the system at all. When we buy into the system, then we're setting ourselves up to be manipulated. Of course, you still have to pay your taxes because they'll take everything away from you. They really will. We know people that have had that happen, or they'll throw you in jail. Or worse. Again, it's the reality on planet Earth. The system has never been fair. It's just the realization now that the system is being exposed for what it really is. And if you want to use the term, you could say, it's all about who you know and what you're willing to do. It's that good old boys club, or good old gals club, or good old none of the above club.
Yeah, that'll work.
I guess. Meanwhile, you have Sweden reportedly preparing to recall thousands of former officers. Even if you're 69 years old, you might find yourself back in the military, bucko.
Oh my gosh, bucko, not a good thing. Not good at all.
What is wrong with this picture? Nobody wants war, but the warmongers who have a lot of stock invested in military machines of war.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
As we watch history burn again. This is a historic Grand Lodge destroyed by Dragon Bravo wildfire? Wait a minute. Dragon Bravo wildfire? That sounds like it should be some sort of rocket of Elon's.
Ooh, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, that word. There's that word again.
North Rim closed for the 2025 season after flames ravaged 50-plus structures. No injuries, but chlorine gas risks linger. Hobbs is calling for an investigation. Hobbs and investigations. This is just horrible. But again, we put the question out there. What really happened in the Middle Ages? Did they even happen, is the question. How much of our history is just script? The scripture is script you are entertained with, and eventually you end up living it out if you believe in it, because you're going to help to manifest it.
And really, how hard is it for them, if people have a very short lifespan, how hard is it for them to just sort of nudge aside the elders that have the true stories and, kind of pencil in what is fitting for them? We kind of talked about that today. It was a great discussion. Lots of wonderful people.
I cannot help but every time I see Grand Canyon, what do I think? I think about this. These newspaper articles that said, wait a minute, Egyptian Tibetan artifacts found in the Grand Canyon. And then it all gets covered up. Then they put that, sign up. Nobody can go into this area anymore. It's off limits. Again, the Smithsonian strikes, and so does, every other, federal entity. And again, the realization that so many things that are labeled federal are not. They do not have anything to do with federal. In fact, again, humanity has given away our power. We need an all-new system, because what we have here, if there really are Egyptian Tibetan artifacts in the Grand Canyon, well, that's a good indicator that our history is just a lot of fluff. And then it begs to bring up the question, have we had global civilizations with people traveling freely from one side of the globe to the other? But when you have all the constant destruction, the nonstop wars, and here we have a 6.7 earthquake, biggest earthquake in a couple of months. It's actually been relatively quiet as far as big quakes the last couple months. But that could definitely be changing. This is in Indonesia. This is a beautiful area, but one of the most earthquake-prone places on the planet. 65.7 kilometers deep, as you see. A little bit of a swarm going on around here. That is not uncommon at all. What we do see is, watch the activity in Alaska. It just feels there's been a couple of reports of possible volcanoes getting active. And we're still watching the activity over here as we look to Mount Rainier area. If we nudge those out, we got 47 quakes in 24 hours. It hasn't stopped. It's slowed down a lot. The peak, I thought, was about 4 to 5 times that. But It still's going on. Here we have a 6.2 that just popped up. This just popped up since I started the video, I think. This is off the coast of Panama. Okay, so yeah, this makes perfect sense to me. A 6.7 over here, the energy transferring straight across. 6.2. Yeah, I don't know, maybe we'll see a 5.6 or something like that coming over here into the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Well, we do have this one over here. It's a 5.2 in Spain, just off the Spanish coast. Someplace I'd love to see sometime before it all gets flooded away. Flash flooding expected in Mid-Atlantic and Florida due to record moisture, as we have an invest that has formed off the east coast here and may cross over and gain strength in the Gulf. We'll have to watch it and see which direction whoever's at the wheel gets to turn it towards.
Yeah, this is really difficult. We have a lot going on. We have a lot of people who are now scattered away from their homes and in different places. I know some people from Texas are all the way out in Nevada right now because they lost their home, and that's the only quickest place that they had to go. And a lot of people are really, really stepping up to help other people, and I just love that when people come together and they're able to do something for one another, without the strings, because that makes it true love. It really does. It shows love for humanity when you're doing something just to do it. And this is, unfortunately, it happens when times are really tough, but you know what? It happens. That's great.
Absolutely. So we can see excessive rainfall outlook. If you are over in the Delmarva area, if you're eastern Pennsylvania, be on the aware. Again, northern Virginia, West Virginia, and up, of course, into New Jersey and the Northeast. Just be aware. It's, again, there's something going on right now that I think a lot of people are starting to question. Here you go again, Guadalupe River evacuations, Central Texas. It's all over the world. And again, I think more people are searching mud flood than ever. It's waking up this planet to what happens and how you could have an amazing advanced civilization that seems to get swept away. But here you have the Amish. There's a lot of things they don't take part in our modern world. But the one thing they can do, which it seems like so much of humanity hasn't figured out yet, is really working together and understanding, it's all about taking care of the whole.
I think it's really beautiful to, depend on each other, to count on each other. Dependency, that's probably the wrong word, but be able to count on each other when someone needs something and you're just simply there. During all the floods and everything, I've seen people step up that have Goodwill, and like Goodwill, the stores, and give people clothes and do whatever they need just because of their heart. And that part really keeps me going when I see that.
Yes, absolutely. And now we have an invasive Asian needle ant that's surging into the U.S. southeast, and the bite can trigger anaphylactic shock. These have been around since the 1930s, but they're being encountered in ever-increasing numbers. I wonder how that's happening. Well, this is not good because, anaphylaxis is an acute whole-body allergic reaction. Happens very quickly in some people after exposure to certain medicines, foods, or insect stings. Symptoms can include rapid weak pulse, skin rash, nausea, and vomiting. It can be fatal. So, just be aware of this. These small, shiny, dark brown to black ants are native to China, Japan, and Korea. First discovered in the U.S. in 1932, coming in via shipping, they say. But they've been encountered more and more often. They say they're not super aggressive, not like fire ants that we have here in the south, which, woo, you don't want to step on a mound of fire ants. Those things, they are aggressive. But just another invasive pest that here we go, is being encountered, and you got to question everything. Artificial lights after dark rewires the brain. Yes. I think one of the best things you can do is not have a TV in the bedroom. We do have a TV in the bedroom, but it's basically hooked up to security cameras. So that's all we see is the security cameras on the house and the deer. And so the deer are entertainment at night. But I also put like an eye patch over my eyes, and boy, does that make a difference. When you have pitch darkness, your melatonin production and serotonin, again, these two, melatonin and serotonin, they're so important. They're produced by your pineal gland. That pineal gland, which, has rods and cones, just like your eyes. Yeah, can you remember any night, or can you remember every night when you start to drift off to sleep and you start to see a different light? This is part of like the type of training that you can do. And again, we're going to have a whole new series on a lot more hands-on training to achieve different things. Be an energy worker again, and other things too. But it's so key to develop that perceptive ability to start to recognize when your mind is switching from your actual eyes to the pineal gland.
And that's got to be about a trick and a half, because I miss it most of the time. I'm either here or boom, I'm there and Mike's recording something.
It's again, things take practice, but here you go. What this is showing is that artificial light at night is really disruptive to our internal biological clocks, and it definitely alters brain function. Again, I've worked night shifts. I've worked all different shifts in my life. There was one point where I was working 2 jobs, and they were totally diametrically opposed to each other time-wise, and all I could get was 3 to 4 hours of sleep at one time. That was so detrimental to my health. Again, what we do is typically we get up with sunrise. Now we get up naturally with sunrise, pretty much. Most of the time, don't need a clock or anything. It's just you sense the lateness, you sense the energy. And usually when the sun goes down, like this time of year here, it's about 8 or something, 8:30. And then we're ready to kind of wind down. So follow the natural cycles.
My mom, she worked graveyard and a lot of different types of shift work. And, she's never quite been able to come back. So I do think that shift work can be very difficult on you. I know people have to make a living and you might have to work whatever shift's available. But if you don't have to do those nights and those swings, don't, because I do think if you do that for like 10 years or so, that can really dig deep into the body and throw off your rhythm.
Absolutely. So, this exposure can end up leading to disrupted circadian rhythms, which will affect your immune system, neural inflammation, your metabolism, your mood. So it's, again, just another example of how these times are just, they're insanity for healthy living. Well, the Amish, again, they're an example. They do a lot of things right. Just saying, there's a mama giraffe protecting the baby against hyenas. Look at this. The baby is up on her back. That is beautiful to love. Again, our Mother Earth, does want to nurture us and protect us. And we need to be in a symbiotic relationship with her. When I see like comments, and so there are some comments out there, mostly on other channels when we're talking about these type of subjects, because we don't get too big of an exposure. You'll see comments that are so misguided, and it just shows the brainwashing, the level of brainwashing, the indoctrination that so many people have been under their entire lives. They can't even recognize that they're brainwashed. No, the planet wants to support life. This is a conscious being. It's a living, conscious entity. And, obviously she wants to promote and help support life that is going to be also in a benevolent state of mind. It's just like, again, our own body and immune system function. And whether we're acting, like a cancerous entity, or whether we're operating from the standpoint of oneness and harmony, trying to promote health and healing for the greater good of all.
Indeed.
And on that, we will bid you adieu and thank you for your support. As always, look forward to your comments. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.